Hello YouTube, it's me LJ back here again, and today I'm just going to be showing off some stuff that I've recently gotten and or made or customized. Obviously I don't do toy videos very often anymore. It's just not something, I'm still a big collector. I love toy collecting, but doing videos is just something I'm not super into these days. Mostly focused more on my artwork. I'll leave a link to my Twitter in the description so that you can see my drawings, my Star Wars stuff. And I've been making money off of that, doing commissions and stuff, and that's how I afford a lot of this. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with the books that I got first. As you can see, I got this like a year ago. I bought the soft covers of the recent Thrawn trilogy. There's the other Ascendancy trilogy. I think that's what it is. But yeah, I've started reading the first one, and then the two I should get into at some point. I am this far into this, and also using Black Series packaging that is already excessive. Cutting it down into bookmarks is amazing. Also got another Star Wars book, The Love Hypothesis. As you can see, that is Rey and Kylo Ren on the cover. Yes, that is legitimately them, because this is a Rey and Kylo Ren fan fiction with the names changed and published into just a novel. And you can see remnants of what all the characters represented, who they were in the original fan fiction. There's lots of Hux and Rose and all that. And this isn't even my only Reylo Star Wars novel. So that's pretty neat. This is actually a fantastic book. I read it in 2 nights. So that's pretty neat. Speaking of Rose, now I recently got a resin 3D printer for Christmas. So that's what, 6 months ago now? And I've been making, mostly I got it for making action figure accessories and stuff and upgrades and things. But there's other things you can do with it too. Like you can make this thing that you can't barely tell what it is because it's not being represented correctly. There we go. Now this is called a lithophane, where it prints a 3D version of a 2D image, like super thin obviously, but the topography of the model will kind of represent the lights and shadows when you shine a light through it. So I made my absolute best babe, best girl, Rose Tico. I made a few of these. I made like a set of my parents' dogs for Mother's Day. Did one of my brother's friend's dog. I guess I did a lot of dog ones. I did one of Bucky for my brother because he's a big Bucky simp, so now we both have a lithophane to simp for. So that's pretty neat. And then, there it is without the light. It looks weird. So you gotta find a way to backlight it. And yeah, this is definitely something that I can make really easily. I mean, it only takes 20 minutes. You put a few minutes into designing it, writing the name in Arabic was whatever, it took 2 minutes. And then physically printing it only takes 20 minutes at most. So that's a neat piece. Now, continuing on with my book haul. Well, first let's see what we got on top. We got the Black Series Tech and Wrecker. The Bad Batch is a fantastic show. I wasn't super into the Clone Wars, but I really loved Rebels. And, there's like a family dynamic to all that the Clone Wars didn't really necessarily have. But the Bad Batch it's basically both of those things combined. You get great Clone Wars plus great Rebels dynamics that I love. So Bad Batch is awesome. Glad to have toys of them. Would really love some 3 3/4 inch figures, but those are like way too expensive now. Book haul though. So I've been reading a comic book series called Vamp Blade. I looked online. It's like a kind of, not a parody, a slight parody and mostly homage to like 90s bad girl comics. And so there are 12 volumes, 50 issues. I have 11 of the volumes. So Vamp Blade Volume 1, I'll flip through and show you some of the art. It's about this character called Katie Carva. She is interdimensional vampire slayer with these aliens that are fucking weird, and I don't know how to describe them really, but she kills them and eats them with these giant blades. She doesn't eat them with the blades, she eats them with her mouth. It's not the only thing she does with her mouth. I'm sure you saw a couple frames in there, but yeah, mature readers for sure. So, Vampblade Volume 2. Volume 3. Volume 4. This is where I started reading. This is where I first found out about it online, and where I first started taking a look at it. And this one, I mean, it's got cool. You got like this guy cosplaying as a First Order stormtrooper. What I love is that the author is a big Star Wars fan, so there's a lot of Star Wars references. And character Katie Carva is her name. She loves Star Wars and everything. So, going on, Vampblade Volume 5. Now, Vampblade is actually a kind of spin-off character of Zombie Tramp. Zombie Tramp has her own series, 2 series basically, by Dan Mendoza. And he's had that out since like 2013, 2014. And that's fantastic. He's just recently gotten back into writing her again. And so she teams up with Vampblade, and then this is Dollface, I think. Another one of Mendoza's characters, I think. I can't remember if it's Jason Martin who does Vampblade or Mendoza who did Zombie Tramp. But yeah, they team up as the Danger Doll Squad. So that's pretty neat. So that was, what was that, 5? Yes, because I'm missing 6. There's Volume 7. And 8. 9. 10. This is the first one I bought. The first one I actually bought. Obviously, like I said, I read the earlier ones online. Going on, we got number 11. Each of these has, I think, 5 issues in them or so. And then the final one, the book just ended about a year ago. Volume 12, and this has all the way up to issue 50. So that's such a fantastic, awesome comic series. I really loved it. Highly recommend that, and Dollface, and Zombie Tramp. Awesome stuff. So, moving on, we're going to do more 3D printed objects. First, I know I said, I got the 3D printer for action figure accessories. But what I really wanted from the day one was to finally have a Dick Butt statue. I don't know if you're familiar with Dick Butt, but he's exactly what he sounds like. He's a character from the internet, from a meme, from a comic, I think. Yeah, I found this file online, and I printed him, and he came out perfect. I painted the base, broke his legs off because resin is brittle, and glued them back down. And then, it's exactly what I wanted, just a Dick Butt statue. I swear there was more. Yes, right in front of me. Oh, I forgot one. I forgot the most important one. Another one that I printed. This is something that I basically wear every time I go out. Rose Tico's medallion from The Last Jedi. I found this file online and took a couple times to print it because printing is sometimes hard. And speaking of Star Wars props, as you can see right here, this is not the final version of this. This is kind of just a prototype that I put together to make sure that all the parts would come out, make sure they fit together, see what it would look like painted. And so, next run that I'm going to do, it's going to look better and more refined. This is Ben Solo's lightsaber before he converted it as Kylo. And you can see this in The Last Jedi for a couple of shots. Obviously when he thought Luke was attacking him, and Luke was his little moment of weakness, same as he had in Return of the Jedi. Character continuity and all that. But yeah, this is so dope. Ben Solo is one of my favorite characters in the whole franchise. And I really wanted his lightsaber, so I figured someone has to have made the files online, and they did. So obviously I didn't personally design this. Some things I model, some things I don't. And I just had the plastic Hasbro Kylo saber out for size comparison. And you can see a lot of the elements are exactly the same. Well, if you face it the right direction. You can see elements of, all the same details, but this is more representative of what it was like in the movie, and it's bigger for a more adult hand. And I can't wait to do a proper final version. So that's neat. Moving on, another 3D printed thing that I found. Okay, here we go. Here's an example. I had to do this by hand. I had to model this by hand. The blaster for this. This is an upscaled Lego Clone Trooper. guess I can put these things closer. I'm sitting away from the camera. It's an upscaled original Lego Clone Trooper. I found the helmet separately online, and then the whole Lego body, just a generic Lego body 3D model that someone had up. I think I paid for the helmet file, and then the rest was free. And then I modeled the blaster myself, and it's a fully articulated big Lego Trooper. And I gotta print out the chest printing image, and I think the back too. I'll put those out. Right, so action figures, other than obviously Tech and Wrecker. This is all the stuff that I've gotten or customized recently. So let's start from this side. The way too expensive at retail, nice. Way too expensive at retail Ahsoka Tano from The Mandalorian. It did not come with this poncho. I had to take that off of Rey to make up for the absolute ridiculous value, or lack of value, for nearly, I think, $27 with tax in the US. That's kind of crazy. It's a good looking figure. Super well made, but And I really don't like the character design in the show. Her outfit's cool, but not cool up here. Someone that Rosario Dawson would love would be Sister, the trans clone trooper from the novels that recently come out. I think she's made 2 appearances. And, I am what you might call an F-slur. I am one of the alphabet people, so here's another alphabet person. This was just done with some Sharpies. I want to do a much better, more respectful version of her. But it's what I had, one of my spare white clones. Do what I can. Moving on, more customs. This is from one of the 3-packs from 2003 of the different clone troopers that came out. They never made a kneeling commander, obviously. And so I made this kneeling one, and I want to make the standing commander. The freaking focus on this video, huh? Pardon my language. Moving on, let's kind of move in a little. As you can see, knocked over here, I got the Vintage Collection Purge Trooper. I'm a huge Fallen Order fan. I'm a big simp for Trilla and Cal Kestis. Really wish that we got 3 3/4 figures of them. But the Purge Trooper alone is pretty cool, because it's mostly just a Clone Trooper repaint with new head and new accessories. So that's awesome. Really awesome. Another Vintage Collection figure I got separately was the Vintage Collection Bad Batch Rex, which obviously I customized with the old Black Series parts, just thrown on there. Really wish that he had the weld lines on his torso. That would have made him obviously accurate to what he looked like in the show. And then the cloak I took off and I put it on one of the animated figures. That looks accurate enough. And I got his head laying around somewhere, the regular blonde Tamora Morrison head. Really neat. This is a custom OC Trooper. My artwork has been mostly, like I said, taking over my life, and I've been having such a fantastic time with it. And one of the characters I drew up was this Commander Jax, I call him. And I want to print out a new Poldron for him with an antenna piece. I'll probably put up pictures of all my characters that I put up. But yeah, Commander Jax, as you can see, he's just a regular 442nd Trooper, but with these pinstripe lines that I did, a little bit of extra paint on the face, and then a gray belt. Moving on, the 2003 Tartakovsky Vintage Collection Blue ARC Trooper. Overpaid for this. I overpaid for Rex and the Purge Trooper as well, but this one stung the most. Especially for an inaccurate character. The nice wrong accessories, wrong belt. But golly, the color looks fantastic on this. And I mean, I hate the VC45 sculpt. I can't stand this sculpt. But when you throw some accessories to cover up the ridiculous parts, not bad. Not bad. So I wish I could army build these, but too expensive. Way too expensive. Moving on, some actual 3D printed items that I actually designed myself. As you can see here, we got Mandalorian pieces. Some from a character that we know from canon, and another one of my OCs. First one that I printed off here was I designed an Ursa Wren torso piece to be swapped onto a Black Series Bo-Katan. I mean, this can be scaled up or down any, so I can put it on 3 3/4 or 6 inch or whatever. And it's, I took the art of her from the show and then made a model representative of that. Excuse my voice crack. And, again, resin is brittle, so I got to find, there are ways to make resin softer and better to interact with plastic and shit. So that could be linked onto an actual Black Series figure. And to go with that, obviously the rangefinder is broken off, but I made her helmet as well. It's one of my favorite helmet designs ever for a Mandalorian. Especially like the wingtips at top are just awesome. So that could be neat. And then we have my OC, my best girl, the coolest woman ever, my Mandalorian Marina Masters. Now, kind of inspired by the Bo-Katan armor design that we see in live action, her and Koska Reeves, but with a little bit of different detail work that I put onto it. I drew her just as a drawing character for a while, and then I figured, hey, I can make an action figure of her. So this is, again, just like a first prototype that I did, like the lightsaber and everything. And, I can refine them, make them better, make them meld with the actual Black Series figures more. And then this is her helmet. It's kind of a mix of this is actually not an accurate version of her. It's way too short, but what can I do? Well, I can just print a better one. So she's got Din Djarin's cheeks and visor, but then I put the crest from Ursa on top of it. And like I said, I want to refine it a little more, make it more accurate to what I want it to represent. But yeah, that should be neat. And then I started getting to actually sculpting faces, digital faces, and heads. So I want to practice at that more, obviously, before I start printing up actual ones. And that should be neat, so that I can have unhelmeted versions of everyone. And that, as I am nearly out of breath now, is basically the haul of everything that I've gotten or made. Not even close to everything, honestly. I mean, obviously it's been a couple years since I've made a good haul video or talked about toys at all on this channel. But that's life, we move on from stuff. I'm still a big collector. I still do customs. I still do all my artwork, which is, I would say, they're equal passions. I was gonna say it's my main passion. No, they're equal to me. Is my artwork and my toys.